Hey, thanks for joining this quick proof of concept to set up a WebCenter workflow with 2 consecutive tasks with a request for upload of a document followed by an approval cycle, giving the ability to also reroute in case there is a rejection. Okay, let's go over some of the setup in order to accomplish this. So, let me show you what the ultimate goal is. Right here is to create a workflow that allows us to upload. So we're going to create a task with a request for upload of a die line. And then once the assigned stakeholder, in this case, the structural person with this name right here, PME structure, PME are my initials, Bart Meerschart. So the structural person will upload that die line. Once that is completed, we are going to start an approval cycle on that document. We're also, notice here, going to reroute it in case it's rejected back to that same upload task. And then what's important to notice in the task right here is to pick this only new task document. So that way, if you have multiple versions, it'll only take the latest and greatest. Okay, so that is the first task. And then I basically created a second task as a follow-up, in this case, a graphic upload. So very similar to the first one. This one, however, is assigned to a graphic person. Okay, so I am hard coding that user, but I can fine tune it here as well by capturing some stakeholders early on. And then again, I have that start approval cycle. Okay, so how did I build that? Well, let's start at the basics. Let's start with these 2 tasks. Okay, so in task type, you can see here my first task called 01, upload die line, and then I have a second one, upload graphic. Okay, so let's look at that first one, upload die line. So assigned a little CAD looking icon to that. I have no specifications other than just a title that says upload die line. That's all. So I'm not using any file upload mechanism in here. I have no checklist, no status. But here in documents, we have some important options. So we're going to activate the allow attached documents. We're also going to activate the only allow task to complete if it has 1 or more documents attached. And I also want to start the approval cycle automatically when somebody attaches 1 or more documents. And also when somebody completes an approval, I automatically want to complete that task. Okay, so the assigned person does not have to manually complete that. And then one last thing you see here at the bottom is the default folder for upload for this these documents is die line. Okay. In the document creation tab, I am going to create a custom upload, and I just maintain the browse window for the uploader to be able to use these standard ways of browsing to their hard drive and uploading a document. Again, right here I'm indicating that same target folder die line. It's a little bit of an overkill because I already specified it here in the Documents tab. And then a third time, as a matter of fact, here I'm customizing this as well in the document rendering. And the reason why I'm doing a custom right here is to prevent somebody from inadvertently still assigning a different folder for that uploaded document. So I'm deselecting the show folder, so that way the uploader cannot select a wrong, quote-unquote, wrong folder. Okay. So second task is very similar, the upload graphics. So again, right here, I would pick another little icon for that, something related to graphics. How about a pencil? Right, and then scroll all the way down. And okay that. There you go. So again, no real specification apart from just a title that says upload graphic, as you can see down here. No checklist, no status, but again in documents I have the allowed, the only complete, the autocomplete on approval, start approval, and in this case I am directing the uploaded file to a folder called graphic. Again, for document creation, I am doing the same right here, and I'm taking all the other stuff out, and in document rendering, again, I have custom, where I am hiding the ability to pick a different folder. Okay, so I have two tasks. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a third task, which essentially is taking these two first tasks and putting them in a workflow canvas. You can already tell by looking at the icon that this is a workflow. So you start by, again, just adding a different task type. And in that case, after you do that, you specify the duration. I got 4 hours for this one, 4 hours for that one. But the workflow will look something like this. So right here, I simply took this task from this right-hand column, drag and dropped it onto the canvas, did the same thing with the second task, and then I also did the start approval cycle onto the canvas. So you can find these right there, start approval cycle. So again, drag and drop these onto the canvas, and then connect these accordingly, all right, appropriately. So how did I connect them? So after we start, we are going to automatically start this workflow. I'll show you that in the template later on. So I connect these two. Then I assigned a specific structural user, right, responsible for that die line. In specifications, I have nothing. Due date, I have my 4 hours. I'm not iterating, no notifications. And then again here, I have only new task documents for to make sure that whenever there's a second version, only the latest and greatest gets used. Okay. Then in the start approval cycle, I have use default. I'm not sure though if I still need that because I already started the approval from within this task. So I'm not sure about that. But once approved, it goes to the next one. And in case it gets rejected or there's an error, I loop back to the input. So that's how I built this last task, right? This task number 3. Okay, now let's see how we put all this stuff together. So for that, I'm going to my admin mode and I'm going to templates, and I created this new template with the same name as my workflow. I created 2 folders, one die line, one graphics. The die line folder, I assigned admin as the approver. So let's say the administrator is the one who needs to approve any file that ends up in there. And I did the same for the graphics. So again, you can set that up either way you want. Now, before you can set that up, make sure to specify the members in your template. So I have my graphics and I have my structure, and the admin is the project manager. So that's a given, right? I think we can see that here in project information that the creator that's how I logged in. That's how I am currently logged in. He's the project initiator, so he's the person who's going to approve these files. Okay. Also, security-wise, let's see, users, I give the graphic person access to both die line and graphic, and I'm giving the structural person only access to the die line folder. All right, the structural person does not need to have access to the die line folder. Okay. So we have our security, we have our members. Don't need to set this up because this is set up on project level, but I set it up on folder level. Obviously, yes, in tasks, I'm going to pull in my workflow right here by using the Create New Task button and dropping in my workflow. And that is it, I believe. Let's see here in configure project creation. I also got rid of everything except for setting the due date. So, and I make that required. Okay. So I don't have a lot of clutter when I'm going to start my new project from this template. And I don't believe I have anything set up here. No. Okay. So let's pull it all together now and create a new project with this template. So I'm going to use that template that I just created. We're going to create a test 07. You can see I've been trialing a little bit. You see how nice and clean this is? It only shows me the name and the due date, nothing else. So let's put that out for 2 weeks and create this BME test 07 project. After I reestablish my mouse, there you go. Batteries are empty almost. Okay, so project started, BME test 07. In tasks, you can see my first task automatically kicked off. Okay, it was assigned to BME structure because I hard-coded that in that task. And the request is for an upload of a die line. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like from the point of view of the structural designer. So as I log in to the system as a structural designer, I will have a task for this project BME test 07 requesting me to upload an ARD file. Okay, so notice right here we don't have this folder option anymore because I removed that. I made that custom, remember? And so here I am just going to grab this ARD file and complete this task. Okay, so after I do this, let's go ahead and log out and log back into the system as the project manager, the administrator, and look at this test project. In my tasks, you will see, well, first and foremost, you'll see the file here in the die line folder, my ARD file. We can see right here the approve reject is started, so the administrator is responsible for that. And we can look at that as well from another point of view by looking here at tasks. We can see that this task, the upload task was done, but we're now approving this document, right? So in order to approve this, I am simply going to select this document, not going to waste too much time on this, and simply approve this right here. Okay. So if we look in tasks now, we can see now that this spawned my second task. And if we look at that from a workflow canvas standpoint, you can see here my design file, which was routed here, which was approved and now goes to my second task. So let's go ahead and reject this after uploading. Let's reject this approval and see if it reroutes and loops back through there. So remember, this is assigned to a graphic person, so we're going to put on a different hat, and we're going to log in as BME Graphics, and we look for that project 07. I'll do that here. Tulips. And we should have a task in here right there to upload those graphics. Notice that I can still see the original file that was uploaded. So I'm going to do a little more research and see, what it would take to like either hide that or to lock that, show that information, but lock that, right? But either way, I have my upload task for my graphics right here. So let's go ahead and go into my demo files and just grab this label here. Doesn't really matter. And again, notice that as I upload this, it'll automatically be directed to the appropriate folder because I hard-coded that in my task. And this folder has the admin approval right there, the admin assigned to it. So you'll notice here that the approval is still pending now because it's rendering. But as soon as that rendering is done, the graphic approval will be assigned to the admin. So while that is still rendering, I'm already going to log in as admin, and then we are going to reject that document. Okay. So graphics, it is rendered. I can look at my approve and reject right here, admin, and let's say I'm just going to reject this, right? I also specified a reason for rejection. That could be covered in another WebEx, but I rejected this. And so I'm curious now to see, as an admin, I can stay inside this login, and I'd like to see visually what happened. Okay, so I can see after rejection, you can see it looped back, and it simply went back into the upload new version. And again, that's largely thanks to this right here, this only new task document, which automatically gets rerouted and becomes the input now for another request for upload graphics. So if I pretend to be that graphic person again, you will see that I will have again the request. So if we look for that project 07 and we look for that task, we will have that task, and we'll have the ability to upload right here the new version of that document. So let's say we get this small label here. That's an Illustrator file that should work, and we complete this. So again, also not sure what would happen if you hit that upload new version button. So I'll still have to figure that out. But that document now was uploaded. That's why it checked out green, and I now have a new file in here that, again, after rendering, will be requesting my approval. So hope you liked this little proof of concept. It was all about setting up these different tasks, then creating a workflow with those two tasks and stitching those together, and creating a template, and then ultimately assigning users and testing this workflow out. So hope you liked it, and good luck. Thanks.